Read from today's title, Raja Nainggolan has offered himself to Roma. Unfortunately, there has been a negative answer coming from the ownership, who has rejected and refused this. Look, it's understandable, and we're going to get into this today. It's going to be an interesting one because this player means so much to this environment, to this fan base. And look, I can tell you and confirm you one thing, that in the wildest of dreams, every single Roma fan has got Raja Nainggolan coming back to this city, coming back to the team he's fought for, and a team which we absolutely loves. So we'll get into this today, and also going to speak about some very important news, because Totti today has left some very big interviews on him coming back and being Mourinho's, not assistant, because he's not going to be next to him, but, coming back and working for the ownership. We've had some very big, what do you want to call them? Interviews with some very big, secret, hidden messages in his answers, so we'll go through that. But I think it's only fair to start with a rumor which was launched tonight, early this morning. And it's fair to say that everybody wants it to happen, but it's not going to happen. And I mean, we're not in a position to blame the ownership for refusing Nainggolan coming back. Nainggolan is just one of those signings which would kind of would really put a good definition to the word loyalty and love combined with this sport. It would be one of those signings which wouldn't improve the way we play, because Nainggolan is not the same player he was 5 years ago, 6 years ago. In terms of mentality, Nainggolan added to this team can add a lot, especially towards younger players. But it's one of those signings which the fans want to see it happen just because of the affection that they have towards him. Sometimes I randomly post TikToks about Roma, and I posted a TikTok on this Nainggolan comeback, and I'm not saying it went viral, but so many people have this dream. So many people have this. Is it a dream? Roma fans ask themselves, is this a dream? Every time he goes live on a Twitch live stream, a sport Twitch live stream, every time a Roma fan meets him on the streets and asks him, come back, he's always said it out loud. His answer is very simple. His answer is yes. He would run back and play for this team. If Roma calls him, he wouldn't even think about it. And this is coming from his own mouth, from his own words. He's repeated this many, many times. It's not like one of those interviews he said yes and then that's it. Every time he speaks about Roma. And Roma left something in him. Roma left something in his heart. And he would run back to play for this team. In fact, the rumor which got launched yesterday evening of him offering himself to Roma, he was basically offering himself to Roma without even a wage. Yes, a wage, but a very minimum wage. He wouldn't come back here because of the money. And he will be aware. He's the first one to know that if he comes back, he's probably not going to get much game time. But it's the environment which he left. It's the love which the fans have that has marked him as a human being. And that is the big reason of why he wants to come back and will come back anytime soon if that phone rings. Unfortunately, however, Nainggolan and Roma have different views on their future. And again, I love him. He is my hero. He is my hero because I'm fairly young. I just turned 18. I grew up with Nainggolan slide tackling in that midfield. I grew up with Nainggolan being the best player in my team. Yes, because I grew up with Totti basically playing his last years and then retiring. I grew up with Nainggolan as the center of my team. And he has been my childhood hero. So to hear, to see rumors saying Nainggolan is gonna come back home, or Nainggolan has offered himself to come back home. It's one of those. It's just one of those things which you want to see happen. It's one of those things which you would pay to see. It's the ending of a fairy tale. It's the last dance. I'm pretty sure everybody here watched Michael Jordan's Last Dance on Netflix. It's the same exact thing. He's searching for one last opportunity, adventure, experience in his career, and then he's gonna retire. Will this experience be in Rome? Hopefully, but it's not gonna happen. And again, as I said at the start, we can't blame the ownership for saying no, because it's understandable. Sustainability is a very important thing. We have limits on the players which we can recruit, the players which we can add to UEFA lists. Even if Nainggolan comes here with a 90% wage cut, we're in a period of time where we gotta be careful on the amount of players we register, or the amount of wages which come out, go in, the circulation of money and all of that. And I'm not blaming the ownership for saying no. It is understandable. It's completely understandable. It's a dream signing. Not even a dream signing, because it can happen. I don't know how to describe this. It's more like affectionate comeback, last dance signing. You see what I mean? It's just that thing you want to see. It's just the ending of a love story. But yeah, he was an incredible player. Can he re-become the player he was 5 years ago? No. But can he bring that mentality to this team? 100%. We've got a series of young players which, in fact, we've got a lot of older players who need a mental boost in some games. You look at our captain, Pellegrini. Imagine placing Nainggolan and his mentality next to Pellegrini. That would basically re-emerge him as a player. And let's not forget that Pellegrini and Nainggolan were in the same team when we beat Barcelona 3-0. Pellegrini was very, very young. He wasn't a starting player, but they know each other well. Look at Bove. Bove is, in terms of characteristics, in what he can become, a very similar player to what Nainggolan was. Imagine Nainggolan implanting that winning mentality which this team had back in 2016 when we reached our peaks in these past few decades. So in terms of that, I think he could come very, very handy. In terms of football abilities, he's not the same anymore. After that Instagram live stream which he did, everything went downhill. When he moved to Inter, yes, he was a good player, but he wasn't an incredible player. He wasn't the same player as he was in Rome. When he went to Antwerp in Belgium, he's just not the same player. After that Instagram live stream, it was the New Year's of, I believe it was 2016, 2017. That Instagram live stream killed his football career. I always refer to Nainggolan's career being very, very similar to Dele Alli. A career where, in the space of 2-3 years, he showed that he can become, and that he was, one of the best players out there in Europe. But just like Dele Alli, he is a player which has never really used his head properly. If you don't know what I'm referring to when it comes to that Instagram live stream, so basically, it was New Year's, it was the New Year's break, and it was New Year's Day, in fact, and basically Nainggolan went live on Instagram completely hungover, completely drunk, and he started playing paddle with his friends, and basically every time he missed a shot or hit the net or something, he launched the most powerful blasphemies a human being could launch. And that's a mistake, because that has killed him. One of the reasons I'm convinced about this, one of the reasons why we let Nainggolan go is because of this. Clubs need to be serious. If something like this happens, you have to not you gotta be serious. Roma is obviously on top of everything. You gotta think about the health of the club and the environment overall. So when events like this happen, you don't really have a choice. You have to part ways. It was very tough to part ways because, as I said before, I mean, the player Nainggolan was something incredible. And it's that player you want to see in a football team. And it's one of those players which, since Nainggolan left, I am yet to find. People say Matic. No, Matic is different. Nainggolan was more tenacious. Nainggolan was more aggressive. Nainggolan cared more. And I'm yet here searching for a player which can do that, which can bring that, which falls in love with this team. So it was a big regret letting him go. But these things happen, I guess. But yeah, I mean, long story short, I would blindfoldedly get Nainggolan back in this team. But obviously, the ownership has got different views on how to carry on the future. Views which, however, can change on Totti's front, ladies and gentlemen, because Totti today went live. Live. I say live. He was interviewed, and he said some very, very, very important things on him coming back and working interiorly for Roma. I'm going to read you what these journalists asked him and what he said, his answers, his responses, because it's definitely something which can get unlocked anytime soon. So the first thing which he got asked is it true that Mourinho wants you at Roma? And Totti said, I think so. Didn't he say so? Or did you write fake news? Mourinho has said something. Let's wait and see what happens. So he's basically confirming that Mourinho has called him and that Mourinho wants him to collaborate with him, work with him, and work with Pinto maybe, or the Fredkins. And then he got asked, do you call each other? Do you and Mourinho call each other very often? And Totti said, every few days we text each other. He's a grand person, a phenomenal human being, and the best manager ever. And then he got asked, next year, are you coming back? And Totti said, next year, there's a chance I will be there. I mean, you look at these three answers, you combine them together, and Totti's coming back. Totti is coming back because he's basically confirmed that he's coming back. He said, wait and see, that in the space of the next few months, I'm going to be there working interior-wise at Roma. I mean, I've said my take on this a few weeks ago. Do I think Totti is the perfect person to fight against referees? Absolutely not. But for Mourinho to have the legend of this team, the GOAT of this team, and one of the most important human beings linked to this club next to him, in my opinion, would be vital. I mean, can you just imagine a collaboration between Mourinho and Totti? Can you just imagine it? Because it's one of those things, once again, which you would love to see in your lifetime. Again, I don't know if Mourinho has indicated him to be the person who needs to kind of conflict and fight against referees. But one thing is certain. Mourinho wants him inside Roma, and Totti wants to come back into Roma. The role which he will take, up to now, it's hidden to us. We do not know what it is. And I think it's very interesting to see what role he could take, what role he could undertake. Because I think, again, as Riley is saying, Totti and Mourinho are the duo everyone outside of this club never knew they needed. It's just that duo which would perfectly work together. Because one is one of the best managers in the history of the game, and the other one is the club legend, the biggest player that has ever lived and will ever live, linked to Roma. So that will only bring fruitful benefits. And another strategic thing about this, which let's say it is about the referees, let's say that it is that he is brought to have some fights against referees. The strategic thing here will be that yes, maybe he won't directly and violently assault the referees like somebody Boniek would do, but he would be there, and his figure of being there would definitely kind of, water down this fight between Roma and referees, between Roma and UEFA, because UEFA would go, why would I hate, or why would I target a team which literally has written loyalty in its interior? Why would I hurt a team with a professional human being who works in the interior of things, who has written and has been part of the word football, who has shown and hopefully will show to future generations what loyalty means? So I think the image of Totti is strategic. I think the position and who he is as a person would be less strategic if Mourinho really wants somebody which will clash against referees. But either or, I've said it last time, Totti needs to get back working for us. For respect, just for him. It's just crazy to think that since Totti retired, nobody ever called him to come work and be part of the team which made him the person he is now, and the team which has transformed all of his loyalty and all of that. I think it's disrespectful to him, disrespectful to the fans, because Milan did it with Maldini. A lot of teams nowadays follow this traditional pathway. And Maldini did leave, but what Maldini, we were speaking about the Milan project last day. Maldini was the one who initiated that project. The project of buying players like Leao or players like all of that, Maldini was the one who initiated it. Now, I'm not saying that every club legend will have similar, impacts to the interior of the team and ownership, but one thing which these players would bring is an understanding of the environment, and it's very much needed. It's always needed. A player who knows the fans, who can relate to the fans. Club legend, from Rome, Roma fan. What do you want more? He can relate with the fans. In moments of downfalls, in moments of crisis, in moments where we fall in black holes, he can relate with the fans and speak to the fans. I think it's linked. I think it's strategic. I think it's studied. And with what Totti has said, we can only expect him come back to Roma in these next few months, because you read what I just read to you guys, and he basically confirmed that he's coming back. The Fredkins love working behind the scenes. We've seen this very, very multiple times. So they could easily be working on this behind the scenes right now at time of speaking. We never know what happens with the Fredkins. And Totti has basically confirmed a lot of things. But yeah, I'm so glad the international break is done, because I am feeling those withdrawal symptoms from Roma. I can't wait to go back to the stadium on Sunday. I just can't wait till Roma play. Match preview tomorrow, and then Mourinho's press conference reaction on Saturday. So stay tuned for that. Yet another game week 4. We need a win. First win of the season. It is needed this Sunday at home. Sunday evening against Empoli. We have to win. Full stop. It is a must. So hopefully it happens. But we'll speak about the game tomorrow, and then we'll speak about Mourinho thinks about the game on Saturday. In the meantime, smash the like button, ladies and gentlemen. Please, everybody in the stream right now, take 2 seconds to click that like button. It would support this stream and community a lot. In the meantime, let me read some comments, and then I will end the stream. As a backup midfield player, he's good because our players are always injured. Sign him. How could they not bring him back? The PR is amazing, and he will at least give 120% of this current level, which is better than 80% of our entire squad these days. Ci manca davvero il ninja. That's a very interesting point, which I fully agree. Nainggolan, no matter what his fitness level is, would bring more empathy to that football pitch than an average what? I don't want to target players, but an average. Again, I always target him because if you understand, I don't like him as a player, so I'm gonna target him once again. Nainggolan, unfit, backclashed by social media, probably has been part of drug circulation and alcohol circulation without a doubt. I mean, alcohol circulation, had a few drinks, definitely, smokes, definitely. A player like that, who is unfit and who's decided to ruin his career because of some decisions, in a team like Roma, would bring more empathy, more love, and more admiration than a player like Cilic. And if you don't agree with that, it's bollocks. So yeah, could we get Sancho on loan? Yeah, mate. You pay the wages though. In addition to what you're saying, Simo, as much as I love the Ninja, we need those slots and those minutes to go to Pagano and Pizzilli. Very, very interesting thing. I agree. The only reason I bring him back is because he's my childhood hero and because I think mentality-wise he can bring a lot. We should have never let him go. Thank Monchi for killing that squad. Raja was a fucking legend. Hardest worker on the field, besides De Rossi. I mean, in some games even more than De Rossi, I would say. Can we bring Nainggolan as our team mascot? Yeah, put him inside the wolf mascot. Put him inside Romolo. Yeah, we're at that. Magari Raja, I love Raja. What we need is for Totti to kiss and make up with Spalletti. Spalletti is one of the best tacticians on the planet, but could never come back without Totti's blessing. Maybe our players then wouldn't dare to give everything in front of Totti. Good point. I'm not against Totti's return, but I do not think him or his image will move the needle even the slightest with referees. I think what he's done to the game will definitely be strategic. I just want to, before ending the stream, sorry if I'm dragging a bit further, but I'm enjoying it. I just want to go back to Loazi's one's comment about Spalletti. I have to be very honest with you. That's a very interesting point because you see, forget that he's now the Italian national team coach. But in the long term, or in the near future, not the near future, but in the space of 3 years, as Mourinho's successor, I would take Spalletti back. I mean, even covering my eyes, I wouldn't even think about it. And it's interesting because Spalletti would never come back because of what happened with Totti. You know, the fans have got Totti as such a god, rightly so, that they will never allow Spalletti to come back. They will never allow it. It's one of those things which we'll never allow it. We will never see. He will never come back because of how he's treated Totti, and because of how he's treated Totti, what Totti means to this fan base, they will never accept him back. And that is very interesting because I think Spalletti is a magnificent football manager. His tactics are insane. He makes us watch some incredible football, but it's just never going to happen. Besides the fact that he just joined the Italian national team, and, you know, good luck to him, as Italian obviously succeed. Please, bring us back to the World Cup. But, yeah, it's a very interesting point. Do you think Bove will stay like DDR or Totti? I hope so. It's very early to say so, but I hope so. I think it's hard to find club legends these days, but why not? I mean, the one thing which I will say about Bove is why the hell did Paredes get the number 16? I mean, Paredes with the number 16 is just a waste of oxygen. The number 16 had Eduardo Bove written all over it. And then why would we give it to Paredes, who, yes, okay, good player now, average player now, but in the space of 2 years, you will probably leave us. If you give the number 16 to Bove, you're kind of handcuffing him to the team. So, I disagree about giving the 16 to Paredes. I disagree with giving the 16 to Bove now. I think the 16 should have kept empty for this season, see how Bove plays this season, see if Bove stays this season, and if he stays, next season he gets the 16. Why did Paredes get the 16? Makes absolutely no sense. Talk to you soon. Smash the like button. Subscribe to the channel. I've enjoyed it today. Let me know in the comments your thoughts and impressions on the Nainggolan and the Totti things. And yeah, take care. Talk to you soon. Match preview tomorrow as we play on Sunday. Very important game. See you out.